Peace, peace, peace. Hello world, this is Hassani Campbell. At the moment I currently go by the name QA Hakeem Ellis. But however, I came to the realization that my identity was stolen some time ago, about 6 months ago. Yes, so that was when my life took a turn. For the better, I would say. Some would say the worst, but it didn't happen to me, it happened for me, I guess. You know, at the end of the day, I have to give praise and thanks to the Most High, to the ancestors. You know, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been here, I wouldn't have made it this far on my journey. So yes, I am Hassani Campbell. And all this information that I am about to unveil was granted unto me by my ancestors, to the divine, to the Creator, the Most High. Give thanks and praises once more. So, I was born in California, Oakland, California, on September the 24th, 2003. Now, I have been missing for 14 years. And unfortunately, I am still deemed as a missing person. However, that was a plot of the system. But before we get into that, as you can see, it states here that I disappeared on August the 20th, 2009. I have been missing for 14 years now, and currently I am 20 years of age. Now let's fast chat back from the beginning, which was from I was around age 5, right? So, to my knowledge and my knowing, what happened was young little Hassani Campbell came into this world innocent, young, handsome, flourishing. And it was stated that I suffered from cerebral palsy, which was also a trick and a plot and a scheme of the enemies. But anyway, it was stated also that my mother was said to be Kimisha Campbell, something of that sort, was on drugs, and she mistreated me and my younger sister. So we were placed in foster care, and I think it was my auntie, as was being said in that report, that took care of us. But surprisingly, I found out that Jennifer Campbell, who was stated as my aunt, is really my mother. And was stated that I was missing. I went missing at a shoe store. At a store. I'm gonna play the article of that, but yeah.
Perhaps the woman doesn't want anyone to forget about little Hassani.
That woman's name is Sherry Lynn Miller. We met her here at the place where the foster father says Hassani disappeared. She says she thinks about him every day, and she's doing everything she can to keep his memory alive.
It's been 9 years.
standing at the store is really weird. Sherry Lynn Miller walking us through what she was told about the day Hassani Campbell disappeared.
What she
pulled
was
in behind
told.
Shoes of Rockridge, took Hassani out of the car, brought him to this door here, left him here, claims he walked to the front of the store.
Ross, who was Hassani's foster father, told everyone he took the boy's baby sister with him to the front of the store to get Jennifer Campbell, the boy's aunt who worked there. When he returned, he says the 5-year-old with cerebral palsy and leg braces was gone.
See,
I
spooky.
can feel him here, but I don't believe he was ever here that day.
On August 10th, 2009, Oakland police did an errand on suspicion of murder.
They weren't looking for any of the suspects. They were.
The district attorney decided there wasn't enough evidence and they were freed.
The district attorney knows he's gone. The district attorney knows he's gone.
The district attorney knows he's gone. The investigators knows he's gone.
He was an innocent
Somebody
little boy
has
that
to
didn't
care.
deserve what happened to him.
And what happened
Seems
to
a
him
little.
is still a mystery.
Yes, so you heard what the lady said, you know. District attorney knows that he's gone. Someone has to care. Oh, Jennifer Campbell is my mother. And I don't know how. Yes, I do. Because of their connections. Money makes the world go around. That saying. Yes, so that was how they were really able to accomplish their goals. But I came to the realization that there was some inheritance left behind for me, but I didn't know who left it or what it was about. I just know that there was something left for me, but I was searching, and that was when I really started to get attacked the real way from family members, from persons who grew me, because I grew up with my uncle thinking he was my father over the years, and this lady that said she was my mother, I came to the realization that she wasn't my mother. No. When I came to the realization that there was something left for me, that all happened because of my spiritual awakening. It wasn't my first awakening, but was my first major awakening, and that was when I really started to get attacked, really and truly, because over the years they were always attacking me and doing covert shit behind closed doors and all these things. But touch not my anointed, as the scripture says. So when I started to unveil the truth about this inheritance, I didn't have the correct information, but I shared this information with the persons. Well, the person that grew me, which was my uncle, which I thought was my father over the years. So I made him aware of this, and instantly he knew that it was the time, that time was coming, because they knew that that time would come, because over the years they were to get rid of me, but somehow they could not have, because touch not the Lord's anointed and do his prophets no harm. So I survived. All praises to the Most High. Yes, so as I said, I grew up thinking that my uncle was actually my father, and also he is the brother of Jennifer Campbell, and my grandmother, which is his mother, and my mother, Jennifer Campbell's mother, also, right? And I came to the realization that something just wasn't right, because after a certain time, it was like everyone around me was just treating me different, like everyone was like I was the black sheep, that kind of vibe. So I accepted that, and whatever they threw my way, I overcame, and still being around them, seeing many signs but overlooking them, you're just coming into your spirituality and your spiritual gifts. This happens a lot to many persons. You overlook it because you're saying, you know them for so much years and way, way, way bag of things, and yeah. So when I really found out that something wasn't right, though, was when I saw that they were trying to set me up. In particular, the lady that said she was my mother, they were trying to set me up to send me to prison, you know. And at that time, actually, I wasn't really around them, but I usually visit. I usually visit them, so I visited my uncle and found out that this girl that they say was my sister and this woman that they say was my mother was trying to set me up. So they were the first persons like cut off. Well, I cut it off other family members before, but they were the first persons I cut it off officially, and yeah, so that was what I did. I cut them off, because I noticed that they were on to something else, and I told myself, I wouldn't stay around to really unveil what this is about, so I did what I had to do, and at the end of the day, the environment I grew up in, I grew up witnessing the two persons that say they were my parents always being in a fight over me, and also I was told that I was being burned in one of the incidents because this lady said she would unalive me if she couldn't have me. Well, that was what I was told anyway. I still have the mark on my hand, although it is growing out, almost gone, but it is still there, and I remember what it looked like from a tender age. Yes, so that's it. So when that happened, it was like all a win-win for my uncle, because they were always at fight, It was always a fight. Who will have me around, That was what I noticed over the years. But I didn't understand why, you know. So it was like this, I was around my uncle and, finding about this inheritance. At the moment I went through an awakening and my gifts were heightening. Well, they weren't as heightened as now, but they were heightening, and I could pick up on energy, thoughts, and all these things, which I made him aware of, and he was there acting like he knew nothing about what I was speaking about and all these things, but I came to the realization that he knew because he was also a part of he's a part of a lodge, he's a Eastern Star or whatever they want to call themselves. Yes, so being around him, and picking up on energies, and after a while I noticed that he started to treat me different also, because they were all doing this though for me to, think to myself, and they were also doing spell works for me to unalive myself, commit suicide. So it was all a plot. But I guess it didn't work because it wasn't meant to work anyway. So thanks and praises to the Most High and the ancestors once more. And so I was there around him, you know, and as I said, I wasn't around him at the moment. I would normally visit him, but I normally stay at his house, you know, a different house from the one that he stays, So I visited him and was there for a little time, and I was observing things, but even though I was observing and I was getting the answers and seeing that he wasn't really for me but against me, I still was there lurking. But there was this morning, this feeling came on me where I was getting this, energy of like he was planning to attack me, or he was planning to analyze me, planning to do something covertly. So what I did was pack my stuff and I left. I went to the nurse because I wanted to ask the nurse if she knew about the situation which got burned by the woman that they said was my mother. However, when I went there, the nurse wasn't there, and I saw another woman. One of the nurses were dealing with me unhumane, and another woman came because they also are a part of the plot, right? Because I went to the woman that said she was midwife at my birth, and she wasn't there because they made calls and let her know that I was there, and one sort of a lot of some, so they knew that I could pick up an energy, so yeah. However, I spoke to this lady who works there. This woman looked just like a lady I saw in a picture, which I was told that we were family, When I asked, isn't that the same woman I saw in the picture? They were saying that that lady was overseas, But I knew that that was the same lady. However, I was there and I was speaking with her. I was telling her what took place. Also, be mindful, I also unveiled that they were the persons responsible for the death of my grandmother. But at the moment, I couldn't pinpoint who exactly it was supposed to know, So I was there and speaking to the nurse, telling her that, they are plotting against me and, they want to unalive me, and, giving her a little history of what happened with my grandmother, and, got emotional, started crying and all these things, So I asked the lady for, I think it was $200 I asked her for to pay my fare to go to the police station because I said I would make a report, So however, she was there and she wasn't really being of any help to me. She was more there telling me about injection and all these stuff, because that was their plan also, but it didn't work out. All praises to the Most High, you know. So anyway, she gave me the $200. I went, and I was waiting on a taxi. I saw my uncle coming because he planned to follow me wherever I was going. So he had a bottle which he was about to buy gas because he cuts lumber. So I took a different route, and that day I was being gang stalked heavily, heavily, heavily. I saw almost everyone I knew in my community. I saw almost everyone I grew up with, even high school friends. They were all in cahoots against me, you know. However, I got away out of their trap. Give thanks once more to the divine. Give thanks once more to the ancestors for always guiding me. I got out of their traps, and I got to Mapen back, and was going to go to the station. Then I remembered that he said he had a family member at the station. Then I was like, no, I won't go to the station. So I came back to the home where I was staying at his house, which he wasn't at the moment. I was the only one staying here. So I came, and when I came, I was here for about. I came down April the 10th because I grew up thinking that my birthday was actually April the 9th, 2001. I grew up thinking that I was born April the 9th, 2001, right? Be mindful, I just could never remember anything about my life beyond being the age of 5 or 6, should say, because they did spellworks on me and wiped my memory, which I didn't realize until after a good while. So, came back here and was here, and came down April the 10th, which was a Monday, right? Because the Sunday I thought was my birthday, so I came down on Monday. And I came down on Monday, I saw. No, when I came down on Monday, he came the following Saturday. Came with food and stuff, and as he came, he gave me money, bribing me and all these things, and saying that he wanted to bring me to the man that he brought me to when I was a child. It's such a mysterious story, because he told me that he had to take me to a Obeah man, as you would know, when I was a child, because the woman that they claimed that was my mother was trying to analyze me through spirituality and all these things, so that was what I was being told, right? So he came, and he was making it look like it was them attacking me and not him, but I knew that he was also a part of it. So he came and he was saying, okay, he would stay for the weekend, and I was like, what? Instantly I started to pick up on the energy from he came to cause danger, like a hit and run he came to do. So I instantly started packing my bags once more, and I headed out. On my feet, I went straight to Mapen. I walked to Mapen from Palmer's Cross. And when I went to Mapin, it was the same experience, even a worse experience than April the 10th. People all around me were against me, coming up against me, and all these things. It was, some of it was magic, some of it was word of mouth and all these things. But they had a lot of people against me. That day I saw persons I have never seen in years, you know. And I planned to go to the station. I was going to go to Spanish Town. Then I said no. Because I noticed that they were trying to set me up. I went in a bus, I smelled weed in the bus. I saw a crocus bag with weed. So they were trying to frame me. So I said, alright, I won't go to Spanish Town. So I said to myself, I was walking around, puzzled. I was saying I would go to Mandeville, Porus. I tried to think of everywhere I could go. And I walked around, because I noticed persons were following me. So I walked around until I noticed that they were kind of off my trail. Then I went into a bus, When I went into that bus, I saw persons that were also in cahoots with them. But at that moment, I was like, it doesn't matter what they try, it won't work, So I said I was going to Frankfield Station. That was what I did. I went to the station, went to the courthouse and filed a report. And, I let the lady hear the voice, the recordings that I had with him, because I recorded the things that he was saying. I have recordings of them, coming at me and with their delusions and all these things, So I recorded him and I let the woman hear it. She didn't believe me because when you go to someone and you're telling them that they are doing OB and all these things, and it would be hard for someone to just believe you. Anyhow, she believed to some extent because I let her hear the voice note, and when she heard the voice note, everything that I was saying was on point. And at the time, I told her that it was my uncle, which was this guy. This is the brother of the lady that I thought was my mother. So he's not my uncle, but I thought he was my uncle. I was saying that he was the one that stole my inheritance, which he was a major role in it, but he was the one. Anyway, he was being used in a major way and achieving what they were trying to achieve, but it wasn't him. So I made a report that it was him anyway, but he's a part of it anyway. So yes, I made a report, and the lady called my uncle, who I thought was my dad over the years, and when he called my uncle, he was sounding scared, and the lady said to him that I wasn't feeling comfortable with him around, I was feeling endangered with him around. And the lady told him that he had to leave. She asked if I would rather to go where he was coming from or let him go back to where he's coming from. I told her that I would rather him go back where he's coming from. So yes, they told him that he had to leave, so he did leave. So I came back from the station, but it was in the night, It was all a plot of scheme again when I came back to Maven because there were people plotting and in cahoots after me, same way. But all thanks and praises to the Most High, I got home safe, you know. When I got home, oh, let's be mindful that when I was walking on the journey going to Mapen, I realized that there were persons helping, which I knew were higher ups, because they knew about this situation. It's like they had a knowing. But I didn't have any contact with anyone or anything. I just knew that vehicles were trying to drive down on me, and there were vehicles blocking other vehicles from driving down on me and all these stuff. So all praises to the Most High. Yes, sir. Came back, and was here chilling. Cut off everyone, saying I was starting a clean slate, starting over my life because, actually, I was on my journey sharing messages from the divine and the ancestors already, so they knew that, this was what I was going to do, which was really why they started to attack me too. So, I was there, and I was there one day, and all of a sudden I saw a car pop up. I saw about three of them, three of my uncles, and one of my cousin and his spouse. They came with their exaggeration, saying that I should open the door and all these things. At that moment, I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I just know that I was in his house, and he came, and I didn't want to open the door because I feared them, because I knew that that was their motive, you know. So I didn't want to open the door, but anyway I did. But they were saying, "Oh, I am Marg and all these things," because at that time I wasn't eating because I didn't have it financial at that time. Yes, I did. Yes, I had money at that time, but I didn't go on the road. I mostly stayed home. So I mostly drank tea. Yes, for about 2 weeks. So they came and they said they would buy me stuff, and they were saying that I was sick. Now this was the very first moment they started to spread this news that I was crazy. Because I reported him at the station. So in order for him to look innocent, he had to start spread it around that I was crazy and all these stuff. And they came and they were saying they would buy me stuff, and they bought me a few stuff, and they were saying that I should come with them and a lot of stuff. They wanted me to go and show us so that they could take my card and my birth certificate and these things. I never fall for any of it. I stood my ground, and I just wanted them to leave. Anyway, they did. After they bought the stuff, they were here for a while. Anyway, they left after. But they kept on coming. They kept on coming, because they wanted to trick me into accepting them back in my energy so that they could have the upper hand over me. So they kept on coming back, bearing gifts and all these things. After a while, I noticed that was what they were doing. I said, okay. I stopped accepting from them. you know. And that was in the mango season. I ate strictly mango for the whole mango season. Strictly mango, breadfruit, and aki just nature food, strictly that. Because I told myself I would not accept nothing from them. Because he also came, yes, he came bearing gifts, carrying food with poison, you know. And how I came to that realization was he carried food, and I didn't partake. At the same time, I put him down for about 2 3 days, and when I looked at them, he wasn't looking suitable to digest. It wasn't looking suitable to ingest. Wasn't looking suitable for ingestion. So anyway, I was there, but no, one of the time I actually ate what he carried, and it had effects on me, you know. And all praises to the most I got over, because I got a vision, you know, revealing to me that they were poisoning food, and trying all sort of cover stuff. They still kept on coming even when I was telling him that, I don't want it. Even when I refused it, they always kept on coming, bearing gifts the same, you know. And one of the time he came and I was like, I'm tired of this. So I let him know point blank that, you poison the food and I don't want it. And, I had the food same way. About 2 weeks I put them down. And he came and he took them. You know, he took them. And he was saying he didn't do nothing like that. And I told him that I ate some that he carried already, and it had an effect on me. It affected me. So he was still coming anyway, trying to bear gifts, giving me money. After a while, he stopped bringing food. He only came trying to give me money. Every time he came, I didn't accept. Until after a while, I started to hiding him when he came. So I hid, and he started to leave the money with purses to give me. And at that time, mango season was over, and mean that I wasn't working and all these things. I started out, I sold some aki and made a little change, and he still kept on coming, bearing gifts, But most of the times he came, I hid, and he left it with someone to give me. But that was also a plot and a scheme, because it came to my realization that they had me under investigation, because really and truly they wanted to try to get me into prison. That was their main aim, or get me to get an injection, So he was coming. I guess he was telling them that he was taking care of me because something went down with me and I am losing my mind and all these stuff. So that was where he had the upper hand for a moment. But me knowing to myself nothing was wrong with me, I didn't even care about that. Right? I didn't even care. Even at this moment, I don't care if someone ought to think that I am crazy. That has nothing to do with me. Because not because someone thinks that you are crazy doesn't mean that you are crazy. So he kept on coming, and most of the time when he come, he wouldn't say anything. He would just listen what I have to say. So I saw that he was just coming around to hear what are my plans and all these things, you know. And most of the times he would come with someone, but after a while he started coming alone because it seems the persons that he was coming with found out that he was lying, because that's what they were doing, telling lies, spreading lies on my name, you know. But we know that the truth always and must prevail, right? So it is what it is, you know. So he kept on coming. Even when I got a job, he kept on coming same way, you know. And even when I had a job, he came offering and bearing even more gifts. Gifts that I also turned down. He offered me even a car. I turned that down. It was their plots and schemes just to try to get me locked up, you know, because it came to my attention that they had me under investigation, false investigation, illegal investigation. They were gang stalking me and all these stuffs. But at the end of the day, all praises to the Most High, because it didn't happen to me, it happened for me, and I am 10 times stronger than how I started this journey, you know. So, I really came to the realization though that I am Hassani Campbell. I really came to the realization that my identity was stolen was after I left from where he was and came down, and I was here and searching for answers, you know. Then I came to the realization that I was a missing child. And I came to the realization that I was not from Jamaica, because I got the vision, and also when I came to this realization, I started to do my research online, searching for missing children from age 5 or from a tender age. And somehow this video popped up with Hassani Campbell. When I watched that video, tears came to my eyes, and at that moment, instantly, I knew that was me. But it all happened piece by piece. It was not like I unveiled everything at once. First, I found out that there was an inheritance. Then I found out that my identity was stolen. Then I found out who my parents were. Then I found out who was the one that left the inheritance for me, and who were the persons that were up against me, that were a part of my family. I do not know them all, but I know most of them. I know that Cindy Campbell is one of them, which is my aunt. My father is DJ Cool Hercs. My mother is Jennifer Campbell. My grandfather is Keith Campbell. And my grandfather was the one who left inheritance for me, you know. And that was the reason why they sent me to Jamaica in order to gain access to my identity and steal my inheritance, you know. I also came to the realization that all these persons that were around me, analyzing me and going back and forth, it was all out of my inheritance. So they all came for me using my resources. Can you imagine? Yes, so after I found out that, I saw my auntie Cindy Campbell. Well, the first time I really got to know her was over the phone, but I didn't have the knowledge of who I was speaking with, though the voice stood out to me like someone who was watching me, though I picked up that energy speaking with her over the phone. You know, and I got visions of her also, where I saw her, you know. I got vision of my mom, I got vision of my dad, you know. And it is what it is, you know. Evil carries no weight. Touch not the Lord's anointed, and do his prophets no harm. This is my story. Just a sneak preview anyway. But I leave it right here for now.